Good morning, Acadiana, and welcome to another edition of Morning Coffee with Big Al
and Special T.
We're happy to be coming to you from Cypress Street Radio, AOC Community's streaming broadcast.
Look for us every day of the week. Our 8 a.m. show will start your morning off right.
And that's right in a good way. Not right as in radical right. We bring you good ideas, good pastime, and who knows what else. With
the progressive flair. Our 7 p.m. stream is a great backdrop for some decaf and peace of mind. So no matter what it is that you've got to keep you well beveraged and not thirsty, sit back, enjoy your drink, and enjoy the show.
Very good.
Yay! We got a lot of we've got a lot of time to catch up on.
Yeah, it has been a while since our last recording, it seems.
Yeah, regretfully, there's some physical reasons for that, I think.
Yeah.
But at any rate, we're all doing well from the waist up, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I think that there's a lot of things on the table right now, Al. And just recently, I've been looking through the Secretary of State's website. You know, we had qualifying not too long ago for all the people that are running for office in November. And while the complete slate was on the front page of the sos.la.gov, they've moved it down now. And if you are interested in seeing who's running, they now have a place for candidate inquiry. That's the tab that you have to use. And let me tell you, for Lafayette Parish alone, we got it pulls up. It's like 17 pages of names.
Seriously?
Seriously. Yeah, I printed it out.
What?
Well, you know, it's not only running for U.S. Senate and U.S. Congress, but we have a lot of judge positions that are up for re-election. We have city mayors. The city mayor positions are coming for election. The police chief of these local municipalities. So if you run just our parish alone, you're talking about 17 sheets of paper. I tried to be conservative and print it on the back of something else. So some people who are getting some forms from me are not only going to get my answers, but they're going to get a slate of officers on the back so they'll know what's happening.
Well, that's good. I mean, so Sir Josh is contested in his mayor-president thing or what?
Well, I hadn't gotten that far. I hope so. Oh, my gosh. But anyway, I can give some overview of the demographics for Lafayette Parish voters and anybody who's in the same districts as us for Senate and Congress. Let's see. So anyway, I thought I'd go through it because it's kind of interesting.
Okay, well, it sounds like
it take up a little bit of time, hopefully not too much. We have actually 13 people running for Senate, including Kennedy. Okay.
For Senate? Wow.
Yes, 13 people running for Senate. We have only 2 Republicans. Only one person had the guts to run against him in the party. And I'm sure they'll try and peg him as being, you know, an outlier. But frankly, anyway, I'm glad that there's some competition, 2 people running. Who knows? Maybe in the primary we'll boot out the old wood, you know?
Well, I guess stranger things have happened.
Yeah, we've got 5 Democrats running. We have 2 Libertarians running. Is that correct? Let me think. Yeah, we have 2 running in the Libertarian Party. We have 1 other. We have 1 independent, and 2 no party. Okay. So among the Republicans running, they're both white male. One of them is from Baton Rouge, Kennedy, and the other is from Kentwood. No, that's not right. Gonzalez. And his last name is Graham. So Kennedy and Graham are running, and the cities are close together. All right. We've got 5 Democrats running. That includes 2 Hispanics, 2 Hispanic males, 2 black males, and 1 white male. 2 black male. You get that? Anyway, we've also got 1 woman running, and she is, let me see, do I have this right? Because I didn't think we had any women running. Let me see, 1 woman, and she's independent. And her name is, what is her name? I don't have it right here. But, okay, so we have 1 woman running, and she's an independent. In the Democrats, let me see, we have, let's see what we got here. Well, let me just go through the list of where they come from. Kentwood and Baton Rouge. Kentwood is the independent. Baton Rouge is a Republican. Gonzalez is a Republican. We have a Democrat from Baton Rouge, and that's Chambers. We have a person whose last name is John from Lafayette, who's running as other. Okay. We have a person running a no party from New Orleans who hasn't put down a gender. I don't think he put a number either. We have an independent from Livingston named McMorris, who's a male, I think. No, that's the only woman that's running. It's an independent. Okay, we have a Hispanic named Mendoza, who's running on the Democratic Party. We have a Hispanic, and that's from Ponchatoula. We have a Hispanic named Rodriguez, who's from Tangipahoa, who's running on the Democratic Party. We have a white male jock from Bunkie running for Democratic Party. We have a black woman from Metairie, whose name is Sharita, running for the Democratic Party. And then we have a Libertarian named Sigler from Hammond. And that other one, see, I thought we had 2 Libertarians.
Yeah, I thought you mentioned something about 2 a little earlier, but.
Yeah. We have another person running from Emmet. So where's the other Libertarian? 2 independent, Okay, he's probably the guy from Kentwood. Yeah, the guy from Kentwood and the person from Hammond are both Libertarians, and they're both white males. So that's interesting, don't you think?
About white males running as Libertarians?
About the mix, that we have that many running, and that they're in different parties, and that there's somebody running against Kennedy.
Well, it's good that somebody's running against Kennedy, but I mean, it's like, I've thought about it, and I don't know what it would take to defeat, Kennedy, for instance, or Captain Clay. I don't know. I mean, it's like, I don't know why people vote for him, but I mean, then on the other, in a way, I have my suspicions as to why I think people vote for him. But
it's because they might think he's the cousin of President Kennedy.
What's that now?
They might think he's a cousin of President Kennedy.
Yeah, I suppose that's possible, but that would fit in with my general analysis. But
Well, my recommendation is that everybody get on the phone and call all these phone numbers and talk to these people who are running for office and find out more about them.
yeah, I've seen one or two people that are running against Kennedy, and I'd vote for either one of them. But of course, I mean that's kind of automatic. But I guess we may miss out on all his scripture on Facebook if he were to get
that just breaks my heart.
defeated.
Well, anyway, Higgins has 3 other Republicans running against him.
Okay.
So that's pretty interesting. It's and of somebody from Lafayette, this Holden Hoggett, who's on the board of the Bayou Vermilion District, which is in sort of deep water right now. We also have, who else is a Republican running? Got to get my papers all straightened up here. We also have let's see, Thomas Paine, which sounds like somebody who would be able to speak real well, who lives in Perry, who is running against Higgins. And then we have a guy named Jacob Shaheen, who is from Lake Charles, who's running against Higgins. So that's 2 right there.
Jacob Jake
is his nickname, Sheehan. And then
you almost think he could go without putting a Jacob on there, because I mean, that's my name's Albert Al. But,
yeah, some people would just automatically assume that.
Well, I don't know with Jake. I mean, Jake kind of seems like it stands on its own, but I guess it could be short for Jacob. I never had given it a whole lot of thought, but it just seems kind of, I find some humor in it for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, but they do that a lot. That's what they go by, so they play on that. With regard to women, there's actually 3 women running. A white woman, a black woman, and an American Indian. That's what they put, but it should be just a Native American,
Yeah, I guess.
But they still are pulling on that with on their ballot. That's how they have it. So there's a libertarian who's a white guy. Let me see, where's he from? He's from Sulphur. Oh, what was that?
Thunder, maybe?
Lightning? No thunder. Far away, but it looked like it was in my living room. That was weird. There it is.
Yeah, I'd say it was about 2 miles away, judging.
No, I think it was further than that.
Yeah?
Yeah, usually it's like 1 second, 1 mile.
No, it's 5 seconds, 1 mile.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, well we've had some in my backyard.
Yeah.
But not today. But the rain's coming, because that's usually the onset, is a flash of lightning and then the rain starts.
Yeah, it's been sprinkling over here.
But this Native American, she's a woman and she's a teacher, and she is from the Homa Indian tribe, Homa Native American tribe. Okay. And I was hoping that I could speak to this lady who is a black woman from Franklin, who's running as an independent. She sounds really interesting, but she didn't answer her phone. That's what I'm running into. It's a no for me. It's like an automatic, like, if you don't answer your phone, you're not going to represent me. You have to be willing and able to talk to the people. So call me back. Don't let me sit here waiting for 5 days,
Power to the people.
Power to the people.
Right on.
And so anyway, Higgins is going to have a run for his money. That's for sure.
I'd like to think that, but I guess I'm a little bit concerned about the electorate. But, I mean, it's like I don't know. I guess it depends on what people think is good for them. And,
right. Well, I see here that there's a white woman named Leslie Olivia LeBlanc, who lives in Baton Rouge, who's running on the Democratic ticket.
Okay. Well,
and
who's she? What
she
office?
Didn't put her phone number. She hid her phone number.
What office what's she running for?
She's running against Higgins, but she doesn't have a phone number. Yeah.
Well, do they have a website? I mean, a lot of people are doing that these days too.
She did put hello at Leslie.com. That's cute.com. So that's clever. Holden Hogart for Congress. That's pretty standard. Captain Higgins, right.
Captain Clay.
Captain Higgins. Captain Clay. Okay. LeBron for Louisiana at Gmail. That's the Native American woman. Guy Clendon at Gmail. T.L. Payne at Gmail. Candidate at Lake Shaheen at Gmail. That's weird.
A new station alert has arrived.
That means the weather's getting ready to change. Candidate Lake Shaheen, and then Gloria Wiggins .rep3 at Yahoo. So there we go.
There's a Wiggins
from out of Franklin
versus Higgins.
Wiggins versus Higgins. Yeah. She's an independent. She's the one I tried to call, but I didn't get to talk to her.
Okay.
Anyway, so I suggest that everybody get on their sos.la.gov website, pull up candidate inquiry, put in your particular parish, and pull up the slate of people running for office.
And what I suggest is go to your phone if you haven't. Oh, let's see, where is it?
Go Louisiana.
Yeah, go vote. And let's see here.
Do they have the list?
I'm gonna see right quick.
Do they just show yours, or do they show everybody?
Let's see, it doesn't. Election calendar. It looks like, it looks like maybe, the hell is this? No, it's I think maybe it hasn't made it. All that stuff you have hasn't made it from the SOS site to the voter.
Okay,
portal,
so they should go on their computer and check it out.
Yeah. I stand corrected as far as making that suggestion, because apparently it's not on the Go Vote yet.
I don't think Lafayette is holding its elections in this cycle, because I see the mayors of all the small municipalities.
What's the date of the vote? November the 8th or what?
Yeah, November.
Well, I mean, that's for a national, but it's just not showing up on the Go Vote yet. But it may be it just hasn't populated there yet.
I don't know. We've got the city court for Lafayette, and we've got the judges, but I don't see anything for the city of Lafayette. I think that those elections are separate, for our councilmen and all, because it doesn't seem like it was that long ago that we had those elections.
That I don't know.
I think that it may be that they run theirs when they have the national elections. And somehow they have some say in that. They get to choose. But Karen Crow, Youngsville, Broussard, Scott, all their city officials are being voted for this term in tandem with the Senate and Congress. And some of the judges.
Well, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's good to pay attention to this stuff. So anyway, with regard to our cities, our smaller cities are the ones in jeopardy of having this, well, even the larger cities, because the same thing's happening for Lafayette, but the smaller cities administration and the libraries are being targeted to try and smother their ability to represent the people equally as they're supposed to do as an entity within the government. We've got this thing going on with the Lafayette board that was appointed. And we had two guys stand up and say, hey, at least they were standing up for the regulations of how business is supposed to be attended to, but they're going to try again, supposedly on the 15th of August, to fire that good librarian that's over at Karen Crow. You heard about it?
Well, I saw that they were unsuccessful in the last meeting, but
yeah, but they're going to try again. We need to put this to bed. I mean, this woman was doing what she's supposed to do. And what she did was not outrageous at all. I mean, it's a national recognition. And here they are trying to fire her.
This is all, this is basically it's a Republican thing. They're like maybe not quite terrorists, but semi-terrorists, Yeah. And they just cause turmoil, maybe the turmoil terrorists.
But I don't think it's all Republicans. I think it's definitely all these right-wing evangelist extremists.
That's Republican.
Well, I know they're all Republican, but not all Republicans are that.
Well, I guess that's possible, but nonetheless,
the greater majority, the loudest ones, the ones who have the mouthpiece, who are monopolizing the dialogue.
Yeah.
Yes. But, there's even back in the 70s, they had the silent majority. Those used to be a lot of the Republicans that kept their mouth shut.
That's funny when you say monopolizing the dialogue.
Well, it's true, isn't it?
No, but it's just the contrast in the mono and the die, the
okay.
thing.
Yeah.
I find it interesting from a linguistic point of view.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some coverage of that during our break, which is coming up, that I really encourage people to sit through it and listen, because there's a huge argument for what we're supposed to do when we're in positions that reflect and are supposed to reflect the interest, the society, and all parts of our population. We don't just say, okay, we're going to whitewash everything, I know that's like it's a dual meaning, but
no, I'm just thinking about, the specific incident that happened recently here with the library. And that's the same thing. It's all these, in addition to something like that, it's like we have just multitudes of stupid programs or, propositions or whatever, just seeming to overwhelm the purpose is to overwhelm overwhelm any kind of progressive
thought.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's just.
Okay, well, let's watch the video, and we'll hear some.
I'll do that too. I'll just watch it right along with you.
Okay.
Okay.
This is absolutely an LCBGT issue, and it exists within the context of recurring censorship that is focused only, exclusively, and solely on LGBT and African American interest and focus. Last year, you also tried to make us take down the pride displays. However, too many people knew about it, quote unquote, so you decided not to, which says something about the courage of your convictions. This has to do with what we tell people about themselves. And as an individual, if you want to tell LGBT people that they're different, that they're controversial, that they need to be hidden away, that they don't have a spot in their society, then that discrimination and that disdain rests squarely on your shoulders. But when an individual acting as a board member attempts to make me share in that disdain and that discrimination, then you attempt to add my voice to the message that the LGBT people are different, controversial, that they need to be hidden, that they do not have a spot in this society. And that will not happen. And if you, acting as a board member, attempt to institutionalize that disdain and that discrimination in a government entity like a library, then it carries the weight and the voice of every citizen in the parish. And unless people speak up, then everyone is saying, you are different, you are controversial, you need to be hidden, and you don't have a spot in this society. I don't think that you're representing the people of the parish. And I hope that Lafayette lets you know that you cannot co-opt their voice. Any issue that is political is a discussion of who has power and who's trying to keep people disempowered.
Well, that sounds like a lot of good sense. And it may be because that it does make so much sense and it is so defense. It is a solid defense of trying to be a representation of the people that the board, some of the board members are so threatened that they feel like they can't handle, somebody speaking the truth to them. So
yeah, they like Jack would say, you can't handle the truth.
Yeah. So anyway, well, y'all know my thought on it is that, if something like this bothers you so much, if you can't handle, seeing a rainbow flag or having people around who are just truly themselves, I think that if it bothers you that much, that you probably have an internal issue that maybe you're tempted or it presents something that you don't want to be faced with because you don't know who you really are. And it's like, okay, let's destroy it so I'm not put in a position where I don't know where I am psychologically.
I don't know what to think about it.
Yeah, I think it's a fear mechanism for people who may be, latent one way or the other.
Right.
And late. So anyhow, right now we're experiencing rain, which we have been doing every day for at least half a month. And I think that we're lucky because our rain stops once in a while, but Kentucky is really having a problem right now. And I think, Al, you may have a really good idea to share about what we can maybe think about as a long-term project that would have a whole lot of positive impact on our country as a whole with what it is that we're going through right now. Would you like to share that?
Well, I suppose I could do that. You're talking about the water pipelines, I take it.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. That's something I've thought about for a long time, because you always have well, I say always, that may be a little bit of an exaggeration, but very often, if not most of the time, you have places that have too much water and other places that don't have enough. And to me, the obvious solution is to build some pipelines. I mean, we know how to build pipelines, and there's a bunch of people crying about the pipeline that they think will bring down the price of gas. That, of course, is all the dirty oil that it would be bringing down. I mean, then this is, I don't say dirty oil because I think all oil is dirty. It's just that this stuff is particularly dirty because it's
the sludge oil.
Exactly. But I haven't looked at the mathematics. I mean, what if you had, say, how much water would a 4-foot pipe transport, for instance? I mean, it's like I haven't looked at the math on it, but I did see, and this is the first time I've seen this in the past week, I saw somebody suggest something similar. And I'm thinking, well, like right now, Lake Mead is almost down to the point to where it would be called a dead pool, not the movie, but a pool apparently that I guess doesn't have much, if any, water flowing in or out. It's just kind of destined to, I don't know, maybe turn into a
one of my things that come to my mind is that in the process of doing it, you could possibly build like filters in that would clean the water up, and try to get rid of some of the contaminants in the process, which would
possibly
be good
it's like, it's a lot of, it's amazing how much we've contaminated stuff.
I know.
But
in many ways.
Oh yeah. But I guess, a lot of people don't think about that. Innovation is good. I mean, there's a lot of things that, it wasn't much more than 100 years ago that, the Wright brothers flew a powered plane, and now, we've been to the moon. And, as far as people actually going there, unless you believe the conspiracy theories. But,
well, I got lots of thoughts on orbits and all that, but I'll get to that later. Let's talk more about pipelines. Now, that in Europe, they actually have, I don't know what country it is, but they have a pipeline that runs beer to all the pubs.
Probably, my guess right off the bat would be Germany.
Or Ireland.
Possibly so. It might be ale.
Or Copenhagen,
Yeah.
That's more of a clean substance than oil. And how good would it be? I mean, we've got these things that are contaminants. How wonderful would it be that you had like a system of pipes that have valves and things that, would be able to open up in specific areas that need water or are, from studies of geological studies from the satellites and all, if we can tell, where the most risk is and just be ready for it.
Well, the data's there. Like I say, it's just kind of an idea that I've had for, a long time. I don't know how long, maybe 10, 15, 20 years or more. I don't even know. It's been a really long time. But
that's good, because I never thought of it. I just thought about running beer.
Yeah.
I thought, that's cool.
It's like, really, the basics is you have more stuff, whatever it might be, but you have more than you need over here and you don't have enough over here, so how to get it there, you know?
And see, they do that with electricity. That's why they have wheels, where they move the electricity to places that need it. I mean, it's a massive operation. And just think of all the jobs we would make. And this would be a long time. This would be a huge infrastructure improvement.
Oh, yeah. Except in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Electricity.
All they want is oil.
Well, they
want to succeed from the union, too, so they can take their oil and drink it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of funny, some of the priorities people have. And what's really interesting is how much misinformation abounds. I mean, because so many people are just clueless. Because they've been brainwashed by the media. Not all of them.
Well, it's the loud voices.
Well, they have
dialogue.
They have. That's a big part of it. But speaking of loud voices, what's that guy? He's been in court recently and lost. Alex Jones, I think.
Okay.
The judge. I was reading today. I think the judge and I don't know what particular part of it. They're definitely throwing the book at him. But the judge said, "This is not a show. We're not going to listen to this crap in my court. So just sit down and shut up, basically." But it's this is something I've been thinking about that I wanted to bring up, and it's more on a national level, and it's another big political thing, and it's not like the 40th anniversary or the 50th anniversary, but it's actually the 41st anniversary of the air traffic controller strike in '81.
Wow.
Yeah, and we could have done a whole program on that, but that was kind of that's a fairly a rough point to start as far as the downfall of the working class and a lot of controllers.
Didn't they just run over the controllers and say, okay, if you participated in this, all right, so what about bargaining power and the union process? We're just gonna fire you and get somebody else in.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an oversimplification, but that's essentially what happened. And the interesting thing, this is that really. I've seen some of the letters that Reagan wrote to the controllers and the union, the PATCO. And he was promising a lot of good stuff for them. And another interesting thing about that is PATCO supported Reagan, who ended up firing, I think 10,700 or something like that. But I've talked to people that were there, the big guns, and it was, they almost had everything they wanted. They were that close, and when they pushed too hard, it's like you just don't do that. If you're in a government position and you've signed, and swore an oath and all that, and said you won't do that, you just don't do that and think it's going to be okay. But it did help the profession in general, but a lot of people, it ruined a lot of lives. Of course, some of them went on to bigger and better things too. But I was just reading about some of that today. But but I guess the main thing, it's like all the people that thought that Reagan was the great, the great Saint Ronnie or whatever, and the great Saint Ronnie, 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 or whatever, and the great I don't even know that it was his doing or he just didn't know any better. But when you look at the tax stuff and it's like the mentality of a small percentage of people, and usually they're in the upper echelon of the society or whatever. It's like, the people that do the work are just a convenience and we really don't need them. And of course they proved that to a large extent when they exported all the jobs, which started after that or, around that time and afterwards and all that. But now, with our supply chain problems, it's a problem. Well, because they're making it in China or, India or whatever, wherever. And, some things can be made offshore, no doubt. But, if it's, absolutely got to be there overnight, then I guess you call FedEx. But it's
or DEA.
Well, it's it's created some problems, and
yes.
Of course, a lot of the the just-in-time stuff. We're not going to have an inventory. It's going to be just in time, and we're going to need it in the afternoon, and it's going to be delivered this morning. Well, yeah, that's fine if that always works, but
you always need a safety net.
Exactly. And if you don't, you're just asking for problems, which is what we had, with the COVID stuff. Exactly. Starting a couple of years ago. No mask. Of course, I'm sure people are, masks don't help, and neither do vaccines. And,
well, they're starting to require masks, at least in the medical community now. I got a notice before I went to my appointment that I needed to be sure and wear masks. So,
well, the BA5 apparently is, a problem. I've got a friend of mine, more than one actually, that's in the medical field, and it does seem to be, the cases seem to be spiking. But I don't know. I haven't really looked at it that much, but it is something to consider. It's something that it hasn't gone away for sure. But I guess that was I wanted to say that about the anniversary of the PATCO strike and labor and, our current economic system here, which is, and
it's also embroiled in the political system too. And that's, it brings it back to, knowing who it is that you vote for, have some commitment from them as far as what their platform is, and understand that before you vote for them, or you're going to, just end up being subject to somebody else's whims that are not.
Well, it's got to be something better than we're going to build a wall and keep those people from stealing.
Hello. Yeah.
That's a science to get people to believe stupid stuff like that,
Marketing. It's what you learn in marketing. It's amazing how, and the whole psyche and outlook, even as far as philosophies of thought on how to run things and how to build a good economy, all of that, they go through cycles, because I know that when I was first in school, way back, it used to be like that accounting, that every decision had to be made on whether or not you made a profit.
Yeah, well,
and
it's
yet,
still
20, 30 years later, they're like saying, hey, this is not really the way that's best for the society and the people at large. We're having a lot of problems with poverty and education and families that aren't able to make ends meet. So there's other altruistic factors that need to be taken into account. And so colleges and master programs are now having classes that are required that deal with ethics which they did not
Ah.
have in the 70s.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
You know, of course, you know, you talk about that much. I mean, that could easily be expanded to the whole planet. You know, because you can't just because you can make a buck on it doesn't mean it's a good thing. But you know, it's like I was reading some very interesting stuff on. I'm trying to think of his name. His nickname was Neutron Jack at General Electric.
Okay.
But, Jack Welch, I believe, and that was kind of his idea, and the really had some ramifications. I mean, I heard it taken all the way to, you know, the 737 MAX thing, as far as you know, the shortcuts and the focus. You know, why are we doing this? You know, it's like, why do we want to you know, in the first place, why are we building
all that
airplanes?
problem with Boeing and that
Yeah.
plane that they were hiding, the fact that it had problems and trying to deny that had any responsibility, that's a real crucial punch in the face, you know, as far as how things were going.
Well, yeah. And that was, I mean, according to this article, that was attributable indirectly going back to Neutron Jack, because some of the people that he had mentored really bought into his you know, as long as we make a profit, it's okay. But the, you know, it used to be, if it ain't Boeing, I ain't going.
I've never heard that before, but
Yeah.
I had read a book on Boeing that influenced me so much. I was like, oh, this is a really good company. But I was reading it back in the early 80s, you know, about the different ideas that they had and what they wanted to bring to the table as far as space exploration and satellites. I mean, it was just like amazing. But to kind of give people a little bit of hope, I know that there's some programming that you can see on YouTube where they do interviews with different CEOs. And one that I watched had to focused on the CEO, the recent CEO, because he's only been in since last year, of Procter & Gamble, where they're going to such strides to really try to make the entire company where it works in a way that's for the good of society as opposed to just trying to make a dollar. And they and one of the other things is that they don't run their organization as an isolated unit to make sure that you profit and ruin all the guys that are your competition. Yeah, and so they said that really only works in a negative way and hurts so many people. And where if you all tried to work together and share ideas, that the entire unit of the world can benefit from it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like I think this has come up fairly recently on a, you know, kind of a long scale time span, but there is no planet B. And,
well,
you know,
I'm kind of worried because, like, I've been reading this stuff about our nuclear warheads and the nuclear response and the war strategies and all, and how frail the whole idea as far as security is with regard to the risk of an accident or a miscalculation. When you read about the Cuban Missile Crisis, how close we came to really screwing things up, and that now more research as far as what the impact would be of any of these bombs, and I'm like dreading this idea that we're going to upgrade our entire bomb facility, and I'm hoping that somewhere in there they're not telling us that they're actually, you know, trying to pull back. But I'm afraid that the hawks have the upper hand in this. Is that one bomb, one of the warheads is as strong, and the fact that they use plutonium and how that expands the risk. I mean, when they were doing those tests on that thing, those scientists really were not sure as to whether or not the process that does the fission and fusion would carry on to where all the molecules of water and air would all explode, and we just, just the whole Earth would be annihilated. Now they know about this thing called nuclear winter that would follow any of these bombs going off, where it puts a cloud up that would keep the sun from coming through, and everybody starves. So, hello.
Yeah, it's
Robert Kennedy, back before he got assassinated, was about to release information that was a suggestion that the entire world, that we have no use for these nuclear weapons anymore and to get rid of them.
Well,
but how do you do that?
He was pushed. I mean, for him to stand up and say, no, we're not gonna do this with Cuba. We're gonna, try all we can to mitigate the situation without, coming after them with, a nuclear attack. I mean, we had the nukes over in Turkey anyway, which of course nobody really knew about at the time, and Russia didn't like that. But understandably. But I mean, it's like there's so much. Like I think I was saying earlier in this particular session, we're fed so much BS all the time. It's called manufactured. Well, yeah, it's called Noam Chomsky. I believe it's his book called Manufactured Consent. And what it means, it's like, with the information we had, or we have, are given, which is largely, false. It's like, that's the conclusion you come to, because if you have, A plus B plus C plus D equals E, except that, A, B, and C are all wrong, then it's not gonna work. It's not gonna come. You're not gonna come up with a valid answer. But
and there's just so many things that that we've found out within the last 40 years that are like eye-opening as far as what really happened and what could have happened.
Well, there was a Russian, I think he was on a submarine. This is back in the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yes.
And he beam him out. But it's like with the indications he had, if he would have followed procedure, he would have launched from that submarine, from what I understand. And he just thought, I don't think, something just doesn't add up here,
Right. Somebody held back. But, the majority of the people that were on those Russian submarines that had the nuclear bomb on them, they did not know what it was. They just called it like the special bomb. They didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And for us to assume that Russia didn't have anything that was loaded with a nuclear warhead, but Khrushchev, the reason he pulled everything back was because they had installed those missiles over there with nuclear warheads. And that's why, one of the reasons why he was like, okay, we're going to take them back, because he saw the handwriting on the wall and didn't want to, start that.
Well, at that time, we had substantially more weapons, as far as nuclear weapons. But
well, then what?
Still,
well, we thought we had more weapons than the Russians did.
Oh, we had a lot more.
Yeah, we did. But those
still, you get into the point of overkill. It's like,
that's what
we have a whole lot more, but still, if it means the destruction of the planet, that's kind of something you kind of got to factor in.
Got the most bombs.
Yeah.
And what good is it going to do you? Let's cut back.
Yeah.
Get it where we can't, at least, I don't know. It's a ticking time bomb for the whole world. And if somebody makes a mistake before we do something about it, or if we leave it there and it eventually, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely.
It's like going like this.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Well, maybe we should think of some happy stuff to say for the remainder of our.
We're lucky. Everything in Louisiana is green right now. It may mean you have to mow your yard if that's what you got.
I did that this morning.
Often, add to the air pollution, but everything really looks beautiful, even in its grown state.
Yeah,
so build more water pipes.
Yeah, we could do that, and everybody have a look at the candidates and vote. I mean, we're going to have to vote. I mean, that's people got to get out there. I mean, particularly, probably the biggest issue right now that I'm aware of is the Roe v. Wade thing, which should get a lot of the women really fired up as far as voting. I mean, I don't, I think it's, we kind of got bamboozled on that as far as the people at the Supreme Court people, but I guess that's about all we can say.
That's all we got time for. So
come see us on Facebook.
There you go.
And
support your local friends.
Yeah.